The Acolyte has finally finished, and this is my hot take on the show. The show is a complete disaster. But don't get me wrong, it had some good moments, but it was a sinking ship. I'll start off with the good. Jackie and Kiermir's characters were the only good characters in this show. I enjoyed Jackie's lightsaber duel with Kiermir. It's too bad that they ended her story so early in the show. Soul and Kiermir's final lightsaber duel was decent, but the slow-mo threw off the pacing of the fight. I did enjoy the sparks of the lightsaber clash, which emphasizes the deadliness of the weapon. But they forgot that they nerfed the lightsaber because of the previous shows when stabbing means nothing. Maybe in season 2 we get to see Jackie coming back after a few days in the bacta tank. And most importantly, they killed one of the Jedi Masters, Torben, without any real cause. The Jedi Masters couldn't sense the Force. I mean, the threat of the witch cult and the kids.
Some call it a force and claim to use it. But we know the threat is not a power you wield.
They had to use a metal detector and agricultural devices to determine if Brendock was filled with the Force. I mean the thread.
The power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Then the Jedi squad broke into the cult's area, and to make matters worse, they did the right thing by killing their mother because the mother turned into a ghost demon ordeal that was gonna go inside of May, or combine May and her into one. And then she tried to backtrail that she was willing to give up Osha to go with them to become a Jedi. I mean, that doesn't really make sense. She turned evil and then she backtrails to say, oh, I was gonna give Osha to you. Really? Then Vernesha ruined her friend Soul's reputation and lied to the political leaders by blaming him as the rogue Jedi who caused all the killings while having Ki-Adi-Mundi know about the Sith. Which breaks the lore that he said back in the Phantom Menace that the Sith were non-existent for a millennia.
The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Which is 1,000 years. This show takes place 100 years before the rise of the Empire, which is basically around 80 some years before the Phantom Menace. Now the twins that were brewed by their mother, who is the main witch of the cult that created a virgins, which is canceling about Anakin's uniqueness of being the chosen one. Anakin was created by the Force as an answer to Darth Plagueis when he tried to manipulate the Force to create an ideal dark side user to transfer his life essence. Then they had the balls to insert Darth Plagueis into the show as a creepy creature watching in the shadows. This was a spit in the face of the fans that have read the Darth Plagueis novel, since the show made him have evidence that the Force can create life instead of learning and experimenting on his own. Also, this is breaking the rule too, since Kiermir and Osha are becoming a Sith and an apprentice, and then you have Plagueis in the background. So there is technically 3 Siths. To top it off, they brought in Yoda in the mix, the most powerful Jedi ever known, that had to make an appearance at the end of the show, and he couldn't sense all the deaths that happened in one night. And he was told the stupid lie in which he could have sensed right through the bullshit and made everyone aware of the Sith's existence. Another part that ruined Star Wars was the bleeding of the Kyber crystal. It takes days and immense power and time to bleed the crystal. They could have had Osha use the blue lightsaber, killing Soul with a force choke, and ended the show by having her meditate to bleed the crystal and finally making it red. But instead, Osha bled it in a couple minutes. Darth Vader's process of bleeding his Kyber crystal to turn it red was not instant. Instead, it was a gradual and intense process that took several days. If season 2 comes, they're going to ruin Plagueis and Yoda and probably say that Anakin was a mistake while Osha is the real chosen one. The story sucked. It created more questions than answers. Osha and May didn't have a consistent motive. At first, May wanted revenge. Then she wanted to turn herself in. Then she wants revenge again. And finally wants to do right by getting a confession. Instead of Osha taking her sister with her to save her, They mind wipe her and allow her to get captured by the incompetent Jedi. Most importantly, in the show, the Jedi are dumb and bad people, and the Sith are misunderstood. Great job, Disney. You really flipped the script.
Yes, yes.
Why won't you just give some of your budget to the fans to create a story that would be 1,000 times better than these crappy shows? If you like the show, that's great. If you don't like the show, that's great also. But let me know what you guys feel about the show. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for future content. And as always, may the force be with you always.